What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 30 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Archaon the Everchosen campaign. So as we saw last time, we had ourselves a bunch of battles, I think 4 in a single episode, wherein we were able to acquire Azazel's Demon Blade and, well, got the buff as well, which is pretty great and keeps our control nice and maxed out, and we got a bit of a weird battle with a village where the bug introduced with regards to the replay prevented us from seeing exactly what happened, but at the end of the day, Karazakarak still fell and his army is just fine. So we're looking good. This time around, we have a turn with a lot of potential battles, a lot of potential stuff to do. Valkia, Azazel, and I believe this army, yes, Khalida didn't move, so Chant here will be going after this guy, and then the other Chant will probably be going after this guy, though this may be auto-resolvable depending on if we want to get a few additional units in this army. Gotta get these guys out of here so we can invade these territories, and probably want to send another army down there as well, as Chant alone might not be enough, especially when the last defenders turn upon him, but we'll have to wait and see. Although, we won't have to wait and see about this, because I'm most interested in this battle right now, so I think we'll start off with attacking Khalida. We do have a single point to pop. Hearts of Iron will give us vigor reduction, which is great. Character aura leadership is fine. We could upgrade Miasma of Pestilence. I do foresee us using it a lot, though sadly we don't have a lot of mana. We have some basic items on our Lord here, and I'm not going to bother doing any more. I'm thinking... yeah, let's go for Miasma of Pestilence. This is probably the one thing we'd be casting repeatedly here anyway, especially if we can get the enemy to blob up. Now the question is, will Khalida run, or will she stay, or will she go? She will go, alright. Not to worry, we'll have no problem chasing her down. There we go. Got plenty of movement remaining after all that as well. And yeah, Pyrrhic Victory, her army is actually pretty good against what we've got going. Gotta remember that most of our army is fairly basic and may have some problems due to that. I would like to give leadership and bonuses via the War Banner to one of the Soul Grinders, as that's a good use for them. And then Ranger's Standard, Strider, and Speed. We got 70 speed on the Soul Grinders. Ooh, Chant doesn't have any mount. I think we got to give this to him so he can at least escape if he needs to, and then we'll have to see. Alrighty. Otherwise, I do think that this is going to be a heck of a fight, and the enemy has a very high veterancy. Those Sepulchral Stalkers, 4 of them, are going to be very much a problem for this army, as we don't have an easy way of knocking them out, as we're a little bit more focused on anti-blobs and not anti-single entities, and frankly, or anti-low entities, and frankly, the model count in the enemy army is quite low, which works to their advantage. And then there's Khalida herself, which is going to be a very big problem. Hopefully the Marauders can distract her long enough before they shatter. Anyway, before we get started on the battle, unfortunately we did not reach the engagement goal last time around. However, we did reach episode 30, and I think having reached episode 30, we've gone pretty far, and I am willing to lower the threshold one last time. 13 and 30 also does make sense to me. So, from now on, the last lowering 250 likes and, let's say, 40 comments. And the next episode will be an hour long as well. I think we'd have to go to, like, episode, I don't know, 66 before the next lowering, so I doubt this campaign will last that long. But hey, it's still going strong, and there's still lots of stuff to do, like this battle. Here we go. Alrighty, here we go. Time for our Nurglite artillery army to make its debut. We've got the Plague Claws working in concert with our units of Soul Grinders. Of course, there isn't as much enemy targets that are viable for these guys as I would like here, but nonetheless. It should still be pretty decent, and we should be able to soften up the enemy army before they do decide to go for us. They will, however, do a little bit of fire exchange, as it looks like one of our units has moved just into range of a Screaming Skull catapult, and those things can hit pretty darn hard. Certainly by the looks of it, we will lose a few units on the trench foot before they get out of range. I can't even quite tell where their range is. No, it looks like the catapults have moved. Alright, so clearly no longer in range. Well, we can continue firing, and we're doing a sort of a fire while moving thing, and with the Plague Claw catapults as well. The Soul Grinders are bombarding the enemy, but we've also moved in such a way that we've got this cliffside at our side. Over on the sides, on the other side, I guess, we've also got our Pestilent Doggos who have Vanguard, well, not Vanguard deployed, but who have moved in and are hunting enemy chariots down. And as we've seen before, these guys are pretty darn effective at doing this sort of thing, and the chariots should be destroyed, and no problem at all before the armies are engaged. Another one of the unit of Doggos will peel away to try to knock down both of those units of Screaming Skull catapults, but the Screaming Skull catapults do apply Discouraged, and it looks like the Hounds of Decay will rout, despite barely any HP damage and regen on them, and barely any unit damage, but they will rout due to that Discourage. So I guess more useful than you might think. But nonetheless, that's only one unit, and it will come back, and it will have recovered due to its regeneration as well. Two of the enemy units of chariots are dead. We're heading for another and possibly another, and we should still be able to hit those Screaming Skulls. The Plague Claws continue to fire, and it looks like we've got some enemy Sepulchral Stalkers moving in, and our Rattling Guns are going to target them. Maybe not the best use of them, probably better off using them to target single entities or possibly blobs of infantry rather than a monstrous infantry unit like this, but nonetheless. The Sepulchral Stalkers are going to be tough to destroy, so we do need to knock them out ASAP, and we can certainly dish out damage with those Rattling Guns. Plus, they're just so fun to watch, so most definitely gotta make good use of them. Otherwise, the main army has engaged. Khalidah's moving in with more of her snaky units, as well as her Tomb Scorpion. We are going to send Chant over to this side where Khalidah is with the majority of her force, let's say, and we're gonna pop those Pestilent Miasmas on top of the enemy army, like so. Miasma Pestilence upgraded gives a -30 melee attack, though the charge bonus doesn't do too much for us. We've also moved the Soul Grinders into melee because we need them at this point to anchor the battle lines, lest our Marauders, being so basic, just rout. And it looks like we're getting a little bit of a Soul Grinder versus Tomb Scorpion action. Ooh, although Khalida herself moves in, and that ain't great for the Soul Grinder. Definitely don't want to be dueling her. Though at least we're still getting support from our Rattling Guns, who do continue to fire on all this, knocking out the occasional Sepulchral Stalker, though I'm sure they're knocking out the occasional unit of ours as well. Over in the background, we've summoned the unit of Chaos Spawn and are using them to distract the Ushabti with Great Bow and preventing them from firing rather. And the units of Doggos have destroyed the enemy catapults, and it looks like the last of the chariots is about to get destroyed, so as always, Pestilent Doggos, what a solid unit. And it looks like one enemy unit of infantry has been unable to reach the battle lines. They're just not having a great day with the Skaven firing upon them. Another Miasma Pestilence comes down on the enemy, which is not fully up all the time, but it is up fairly often. And we get to sort of use our sacrifice ability to give ourselves melee attack +30, and then the enemy loses melee attack -30. All of that combined is pretty good for our offensive capabilities. And it does look like we should be able to carry the day. The Scorpion moves out to where we can fire upon it with the rattling guns. It looks like they quickly reduce its HP and are now going to start firing on Khalida. Of course, this will probably damage us, but her HP will drop reasonably quickly as well. Losing about a quarter of her HP and still dropping. Alright, rattling guns working quite well in this army, and once we have some Chosen of Nurgle, or at least Chaos Warriors of Nurgle in here, to hold the line, and this will all work out quite well. As the Marauders are obviously way too fragile for this sort of thing. And now, not much to say, it's simply devolved into melee. Just gotta make sure our Soul Grinders delete the rest of the Necro Serpents slash Spokal Stalkers here, and it looks like they're quite effective. And doing so, Khalida will drop and only the Tomb Scorpion will remain on field, surrounded by Soul Grinders and our Shrine of Nurgle. And, okay, there's a couple Tomb Guards still in here. I would have expected this Scorpion to be the last one, and hey, even our units of Chaos Spawn are going to help out as well. As in the summoned ones, not the Nurglite Spawn, which we are using in this army, but only temporary. Not to worry, since we're using Nurglite Spawn in Gulator's army, this one won't have any. They're just taking the place of the Spawn, or of the Soul Grinders, which need capacity. Wow, alright, very nice indeed. Honestly, I thought that went better than I was thinking that it would go. Khalida still managed to do massive amounts of damage, racking up 29,000 and getting 80 kills, quite a bit, nearly half as much as the rest of her army combined. Between Khalida and the Tomb Scorpion, most of the damage came from there. Decent damage from the Screaming Skull Catapults when they did manage to range one of our units of Marauders, but once again, considering the disparity in unit quality and veterancy and the high-level strong lord here, I'm very happy with that particular performance. Once again, the various doggos did very well. Looks like in terms of damage, the prize goes to the sick of the litter, 16.5k. Fortunately, the doggos do eat those skeleton chariots for breakfast, and thus they weren't a problem annoying us, as they would have otherwise interfered with our Plague Claw catapults. It got decent mileage out of our rattling guns, which got 21k damage and 11k damage. One of them had a little bit more of a problem with line of sight, and then 11 and 11k on the two Plague Claws, though once again, since the enemy didn't have as much infantry blobs as we wanted this time around, they couldn't play as much as they'd like to. We got 17k and 23k on the two Soul Grinders as well, both of which are going to need names incidentally. And yeah, looks like the Skaven troops are working reasonably well here. Oh, with the Nurglite troops. I'm still a little bit unsure whether I should have just gone for Jezzails over rattling guns, but we'll keep the rattling guns here, at least for now, unless I become unhappy with the performance of this army or something. We will go for, I guess, Sacrifice. It really doesn't matter. Go for Sacrifice. Sacrifice is the one that gives us additional XP, is it not? Ah, or is it the other one? Maybe it is the other one. Rank, we're +1 recruit rank for missile units, +25 for relationship with the vampires, and a little bit of charge bonus. Doesn't really matter for this army, to be perfectly honest. But it's fun. Defeat trade's a defeat trade, and we got a beguiling gem for a Slaneshi army as well. Hey, Chant, you got a Chaos Steed now. Well, that's just swell, but let's get you Children of Nurgle so that whenever you cast things, they can heal up a little bit in the area. We could also go for Dominating Presence, so I'm inclined to continue buffing Miasma of Pestilence. Frankly, it's just very useful to repeatedly spam it. Anyway, that doesn't change the fact that you're probably going to have to land, though I fear it'll have to be... I see that you're not healing in any of these neutral territories. I'm going to bet that you'd heal over here, but we need to travel this way to Khalida. But we also will want to heal up so that we land at full HP, so I guess we're going here. And we should also probably channel, because this army does need to channel. No, I think we do have room for another soul grinder as well, so... And there is also that. And we'll also need to get you an exalted hero from somewhere, so that you rack up XP a little bit faster for these guys to evolve, though at the very least the soul grinders won't need that sort of thing. I'll just have to keep an eye out for a exalted hero, which we can't get here. In fact, now that I think of it, I don't think there's anywhere nearby that can make exalted heroes. I think what we'd have to do is either get one from very far away, or just take a minor settlement here and just recruit one all the way over there. That's probably the way to do it. Anyway, good job, Chant. Now, what do we have here? King the Senefret. I really wish I could see what was in your army, as that would inform me as to what we would summon. We can't have any more horses by the looks of it. I mean, I was gonna put the Knights of Immolation and the Golden Griffin of Theurgy in this army, but ugh. It's a 1,600 gold per turn swing, plus a massive expenditure here. Nonetheless, they were gonna go to lead this army anyway. Fine, just do it. Just do it. It's not like our army is in, or our money is in a horrible situation right now. Now, the question is, do we actually have to fight this? Root Marcher, Dominating Presence, you are going to... This counts flying and missile units, yes? Yes, but it does not count manticores, though I suppose we don't know how many manticores exactly are gonna stay in this army. It will buff the Lords of Change. It will not buff the Doom Knights, which actually share the tree with all of the other cap. Damn, we're gonna have to spread that out a little bit. Well, that's a shame. I guess if we start leveling the regular cap... Oh, wait, no, but that's Chaos Anger? Where's Marauder Horses? Marauder Horses here? I see Chaos Knights, I see Chariots, and I don't see... Oh, Marauder Horses are in Doomfire. Damn. Once they become Doom Knights, then it'll help them, or once they become regular Chaos Knights as well. I was tempted to say we should just go for spells instead. Let's go Blue Fires and Fires of Change for now. Once again, if there are single entities here that need to be knocked down, well, they damn well should. You know what, let's get a few Marauder... I wish I knew what was in this army. Kind of a waste, but let's get 3 Marauders just to act as a little bit of a force to stand there while these guys do the damage, and then we'll see. Do we need to fight this out? They're gonna run from this, from a half a stack, well, 3/4 stack. Oh, they're gonna run here. Okay, we cannot resolve that then. Not to worry, we'll try these guys out in a proper battle, but not worth it when we have these guys, I think. Plus, we have so many more battles to fight this particular episode, so let's do that. Let's get some of our money back via sacrifice captives, and then I guess we're deleting these Marauders. Goodbye, Marauders. Guess we won't need you anymore. And then you're going back into March stance, and you need to head here to Uskala Canal. I assume you won't heal here, though, so I think we will stay right here and make sure that you heal up to full. Not that you're all that damaged, Chant, but nonetheless. I'm keeping these guys named Chant because they're going to become Demon Princes, and thus I kind of think of Chant as like a temp name. Like they're chanting a ritual to summon something. Anyway, Archie, you're going to Igorov. I guess we could hit Vitevo first, but I'd like to be able to get them both. In fact, is this the last 2 settlements? Yes, indeed it is. They could reclaim Fort Jakova, I suppose, but honestly, it probably doesn't matter all that much. Archie, hit Igorov. It's probably going to hurt our giants. But if we can end the turn this episode, I can hit Vitevo between the episodes and then not allow... Ow, actually the giants didn't even get damaged. Then we're fine. Sack the place. And hit it again. Nice Lichbone Pennant. Also Slanesh Giggle for the hit it again comment. Occupy. Igorov, I guess we'll repair you, and we will get a... Considering buildings are super cheap right now, get a Twisted Relic here. We'll trade it away to somebody. Not 100% sure who as yet, but well, somebody we shall find. Next, Azazel. Now, you have an army. With tons of chariots and stuff. And I think that might be worth fighting, so that means we're leveling you and then we're heading on in. Now, you have Legion of Doom, you are going to stand or die. You, sir. What were you going through? I guess we do want to get Retinue Trainer, so we may as well just fully go into that. Enemy leadership reduction versus 1% experience. It's trying to stack XP on everybody just because we need XP maxed out for all of our extra units. You know, the newer units. Alluring energy for use, speed, and charge, and let's start going through Delusions of Grandeur. I don't need much in the way of spells other than Lash of Slaanesh here, so it's not a big deal. And Delusions of Grandeur for you as well. Gotta keep everybody nice and quick moving. Alright. I'm very tempted to swap these two out for Fiends of Slaanesh. We do have two there. We really need another unit of Demonettes, or we could swap the Spawn and the Marauders out, but then we are still getting Soul Grinders and Keepers of Secrets in here. That's the issue. Anyway, it may be an issue, but for now we have other things to consider, like another fight. Which is the best kind of thing to consider. Alright, a Pyrrhic victory, you say. Well, the reinforcing army is certainly decent, though once again I think it is underestimating Azazel's army. Let's prove that to be the case. Alrighty, here we go. Looks like we're fighting Tomb Kings all across the world, from Kalita to Katep. It's nice move and an animation from Azazel there, but yeah, fighting Tomb Kings all over the place, kind of opposite sides of the map, which is pretty interesting. But anyway, away we go. We got the first much smaller army that we're going to try to hit hard and fast, as we like to do with our Slaaneshi armies, and we'll hopefully bring down those Sepulchral Stalkers and Tomb Guard before the main enemy host arrives. The main enemy host, speaking of, will be moving in from behind us, and thus we need to be careful about getting very heavily damaged by either rear charges or by enemy artillery. And also this whole conversation has been very Slaaneshi giggly. Anyway, looks like the enemy's going to drop a Tomb Swarm directly on our units of Marauders and Chaos Warriors, which is a little bit unfortunate for us, but frankly, probably a good thing that they dropped it here rather than upon our Demonettes, which are very fragile and obviously would have taken a lot more damage. The Chaos Warriors shouldn't have any trouble holding Tomb Guard or Nehekara Warriors or Nehekara Horsemen off, especially with that Overwhelm and heavy armor on them, and allow those Demonettes to do damage. We also have our units of Chariots, both the Seekers and the Chaos Chariot varieties, moving around in the background. They've annoyed the enemy archers and then allowed the other Demonettes to move in and rip them apart, probably much faster at it than the chariots as well. It's still so strange to be fighting Tomb Kings in snowy territories, but well, it certainly works. I guess it's always good when you're fighting Tomb Kings in the sense that whether if you're on the snowy territory or the sandy territory, you can see absolutely everything. And I like to watch. Slaaneshi giggle. Yeah, I like the fact that there are limited amounts of trees, and this gives us full visibility of the fight. Especially with factions that don't sort of glow in the dark. Although this is obviously not a dark map, but yeah, just speaking of visibility on these maps. Anyway, it looks like the first army has been destroyed, and on top of that, really lucked out on this one. We reached the Realm of Souls exactly at the destruction of this army, which means the enemy AI will have wasted their spawn of Ushabti, which we will take care of before we get into combat with the main enemy house. And they've got some good stuff in here, a Necrosphinx and a Hierotitan. Plenty of Necropolis Knights and some Sepulchral Stalkers probably in here as well, interspersed with all those Necropolis Knights, or is there just a ton of Necropolis Knights and Chariots? Either way, highly mobile army, some decent elite troops, so we got to regroup before we move on in and fight them again. Azazel will be the first in, and he's going to go directly for that Necrosphinx. Let's keep it back from the rest of our army, where it will hopefully be distracted fighting Azazel. He's going to move in, he's going to pop Temptator, and he's going to make sure that... Oh, wow. It can... the Necrosphinx can knock him back, damn. They should have done an animation with like a flying lord like Valkia, like a winged lord like Valkia or Azazel, where something big knocks them back, but they sort of fly back and then sort of flap their wings and stop themselves. That would have been a neat animation. Like a counter to the knockback, I mean. Anyway, Azazel will keep the enemy Necrosphinx distracted, and it's lost about a quarter of its HP, whereas he's fine. So far, we drop Piercing Bolts of Burning and the Army-bound ability on the enemy catapults, just so that we can summon the Chaos Spawn there and make sure that they don't do anything. Our Marquis has used his Phantasmagoria ability, and the enemy has now no melee attack and is trapped in this little blob here, while the rest of our army moves in. The Marquis will, of course, be working on those Necropolis Knights with the help of the 2 Chaos Sorcerers, killing them one by one. As obviously we need damage dealers to do that work rather than the Chaos Warriors with Hell Scourges. But the Chaos Warriors with Hell Scourges will keep the enemy from doing too much work with their Necropolis Knights. And by the looks of it, that at least is working quite nicely. Just Overwhelm alone brings the Necropolis Knights down to only 17 weapon strength. They're basically useless, and that's without the poison as well, though the other debuffs are affecting them. So they do have, okay, if I can actually select you, and they do have the Warrior Bane on them as well. Too bad we can't see what their number would be with poison on them at the same time. But unfortunately, our aspiring champions are a little bit busy with other stuff. And yeah, it looks like the debuff stacking is working quite nicely here. Okay, yeah, there we go. Tomb Guard with halberds down to 16 weapon strength with Overwhelm and Poison. Plus, they've got Charmed and Glittering Scales on them, so their melee attack is down to a mere 23. And that's not all. Once again, we want a couple of those Soul Grinders with their Enfeeble attack ability on them as well. And altogether, it should be quite nice. Anyway, Azazel is taking on the big boys while the rest of the battle continues to move forward, though it looks like the Necrosphinx is just about done for. And Azazel remains pretty much fine. Actually, very impressed with him here. There we go. Obviously, he took a lot longer to deal with the enemy Necrosphinx than somebody like Valkia would, but considering that he's been casting this entire time as well, it's still pretty impressive. Marquis is also doing great work. We've seen him knock out Necropolis Knights time and time again throughout this particular battle, and he's up to 20k damage and plenty of damage dealt as gold value as well, as he has been specifically hunting down those more elite enemy entities, rather than being bogged down on Tomb Guard. We've also moved our chariots in to bog down the enemy chariots, and with the combination of the Demonettes running around and ripping them apart, the battle should be ours fairly shortly. Devolved into a disorganized melee at this point, but that works in our favor as the enemy cannot do anything with their mobility. Their Rushabti with Great Bow were trapped and unable to fire, and only the enemy Hyro Titan will remain. Not that Azazel needed the help at this point, but we move the Marquis in, and she will be able to deal damage to the enemy Hyro Titan quite well, which is down to a quarter of its HP, and its army has been destroyed. And here comes some Exalted Champions to help out as well, especially with their barriers back up. They're under no threat of losing even a single model to the Hyro Titan. Though aesthetics-wise, the Slaaneshi should at least appreciate the Hyro Titan, because it's still absolutely fantastic. Very nice. And another heroic victory for our trouble. Alright, very nice. Once again, a second heroic battle. A day of heroics, I suppose, as Azazel was able to take on both an enemy Necrosphinx and a Hyro Titan at the same time without too much trouble. He's certainly come into his own as a duelist on the field. The comparison between the chariots continues, and as we can see, the Seeker chariots got basically twice as much damage as all of the other chariots. And once again, this is without veterancy, man. I really wish we could get Hellflayers. We could just replace all of these unnecessary regular Chaos Chariots with them, but oh well. We'll have to contend with the Seekers, though I did put them in this particular army only for testing purposes. I'm not sure that we'll keep them. I'll think about it. They're still certainly very much more fragile, but against certain factions, they will bring a lot more value. But anyway, we are going to sack the place once again.
Delectable.
Once again, because we're sacking other stuff. And hey, Melatech was 8 when attacking at sea. Ooh, hello, a free student as well. Not that I think that matters all that much anymore. Do you need that Ore Slave? Casualty punishment for Warhounds. Yeah, you don't need the Beast Tamer. Take the Ore Slave, because you are the only one who's currently at sea. Well, I guess technically that other little Chant army is also at sea, but nonetheless. Anyway, you are going to land here. I'm going to not put you into March stance, Siggy. Or full speed stance. Oh, damn, there's a Mysterious Island right there. Yeah, I probably could have gone for that if I had seen it. And, ooh, yes, okay, if we could have Eltharion not run away, that would be swell. I do notice that he has sacked Conquata, which is a little bit unfortunate since it's lost it's lost some of its tears, but whatever. I'll make sure that the enemy cries the tears for doing so. Anyway, even if Conquata does fall, Be'lakor still has the Palace of Ruin and Kawark here, so we're still good for confederating him, as ain't nobody gonna go all the way up there to get those. Gulator, you're gonna grab Norden real quick? Although we do need to head back down to Kapelberg. I guess we can also send Archie that way. And we'll see. Grab Norden, give it to somebody probably. This is once again gonna hurt our spawn, but there was no way we were gonna fight that. I guess sack once again, then go into regular. Actually, it doesn't matter what stance you go into, just grab Norden, please. Occupy, very nice. And province secured Ostland, go for that exploit of vassals. And don't really care about this in Wolfenburg, but, well, whatever. Twisted Relic. And by this I mean the gold mine. Gold is surprisingly useless to Chaos Warriors. You could at least use it for embellishing their armor or something. I mean the Chaos corruption that it provides is relatively useless. Anyway, Kolek, you are heading down. We still have not had the notification yet, which is a bit of a shame for the end game, but that does mean that Kolek has plenty of time to get to Cathay and will have to send somebody else to deal with Grimgor's respawn. Alright, Kuchar, you have arrived. Now, since these elves, unlike all the other elves, alright, so the way that we have to do this is this. I guess we're going to go down here first then. Alright, fine. Go to Tor Elisor first. If we want to subjugate them, we'll have to hit the Tower of the Sun last. Only tier 3 as well, but hopefully Ammon stays there. So we hit Tor Elisor, then we hit the Tower of the Stars? Yes, Tower of the Stars, and then we hit the Tower of the Sun afterwards, and then vassalize them, just because it tickles me to have a corrupted elven faction, high elven faction, following us. Village, I believe you were in range of Thorgrim Grudgekeeper, and indeed you still are. What were we going for in terms of your buffs? I think I was going to get Prismatic Plurality, but at the same time, there's other useful stuff. You know, let's get Chaos Vanguard at the very least. We will be using it. Ah, the Forsaken can be turned into spawn, though the Auto Resolve doesn't like them, which is a bit of an issue. You know what? Here's what we'll do. Go and attack Thorgrim. I think this should be auto-resolvable. I want to see if we can attack Scrag in the same turn, because that might be worth a fight. Decisive victory, low casualties. I mean, his army is badly hurt. There's some neat units in here, but not worth our time right now. Let's see how badly this damages us. And, oh wow, that hurt the cockatrice, but otherwise not so bad. I think rather than sacrificing them, though, we'll kill the captives, so that if we should attack... Construction costs for all buildings, local province irrelevant. A little bit of a research rate. So if that we should attack... we can't reach Scrag. That's a shame. Well then. I guess we'll hope that he decides to attack us instead. We're gonna move back into Varenka Hill. Ooh, wait. He can reach Karazakarak from here. Well, actually he can't. He's very close to being able to reach Karazakarak. We don't have the Norglite thing that lets us heal, so I think we have to go into an camp stance and then go right there. Yeah, I was really hoping to reach him. Oh well. Anyway, I want you two to upgrade to spawn now. And then I want you and you to upgrade to Warriors of Tzeentch with halberds. Alright, and I think we can't do anything about the regular pink horrors becoming exalted pink horrors. Man, this army is really hurting for space, isn't it, though? I mean, the Marauder horses are going to get replaced, but otherwise... Yeah, I guess now we have the spawn of Tzeentch, which have 24 units, although they won't be able to quite, well, not interfere with the Mutaliths, because they'll get in each other's way, but nonetheless. I think it makes more sense in this particular army. Jaeger! You're heading to the Palace of Ruin. Hopefully Bellicor won't have a full stag by the time we get there, but, well, if he does that, that's something you're gonna have to deal with, good sir. And I guess we want the Cornate army up there as well. I think you can start moving. It's unlikely that he'll declare war on us. I guess you can start summoning some stuff as well. Alright, get 3 Chaos Warriors, eh? I mean, we'll obviously need to replace them with the Bloodletters eventually, but it's going to take a while until that's a possibility. Yeah, fine. Get the Chaos Warriors, get the Marauders, I guess coronate them all. Need something that's like an army. Like so. And then, okay, we'll have to do them one by one. Yeah, this is all costing us money, but well, doesn't everything always cost money? Use the shielded ones for now, because we'll use the Bloodletters as the damage dealers, and the Marauders will be replaced by Bloodletters, so we'll go dual axes on them. I think they do more natural melee attack than the Chaos Warriors anyway. And then you can be upgraded to Chaos War Horses or Marauder Horsemen of Khorne. Alright. And it'll be a little bit before we can get more Bloodletters, but that's just fine. Alright, you sir, going this way. Also probably gonna need to get you an Exalted Hero, just like everybody else. Maybe a Caster. Valkia's not getting a Caster because she would probably just execute them on the spot for existing, but actually, speaking of Valkia, we got ourselves a fight. And by the looks of it, a very nice fight indeed. Alright, well, Valkia, guess what you're doing? Going to... Oh. This also counts as a spell, doesn't it? Okay, fine. Going to regular stance, and I guess hit this guy, King Perhot... Wait. Do we want this guy to move as a reinforcement? It depends. It depends on if he has artillery or not. Ooh, there's a Casket of Souls in this army, but that's the biggest enemy stack. I could just try to attack that first. It really depends on where the spawns would be on the battle map. Reasonably sure we could destroy this army before the second army gets there, though. Yeah, alright, fine. And we'll force the bigger army to move in as a reinforcement. Valkia, away you go. We do have a Bloodthirster to try out as well, though still not a decent amount of Cornate Warriors, so still gonna have to work on that. And yeah, 2 reinforcing armies with 4 Screaming Skull Catapults. Those will make mincemeat of our Cornate Marauders so quick, and so will the Casket of Souls, so we gotta be real careful about those, but otherwise, this is a Pyrrhic victory, casualties high, and Khorne is happy.
Remember, warriors, it matters not from whence the blood flows, only that it flows.
Alright, and flow it shall. We've got our first bloodthirster on the field, and I'm pretty darn happy about that. And we'll get a second one right after we take this particular settlement. Oh, there's bloodthirster. He's going on vacation among all the trees here, and this is what a coronate vacation should be: a potential Pyrrhic victory, or at the very least, to fight. Anyway, the first smaller army, similar to the battle against Zazel's force, needs to be destroyed before the bigger reinforcing armies move in. So we got to get to work on that. The Bloodthirster will move in and drop down on the enemy forces. And we're definitely very nice hits, very nice hits. We're going to definitely give it a bit of a watch. Their animations aren't quite as nice as Scarbrand's. I could watch Scarbrand all day. It's just very fun to watch as well. And yeah, obviously the rest of the battle is going on at the same time, but I just wanted to see the Bloodthirster do a few things. And hey, the Spear Sleipnir drags a furrow through the enemy ranks, which I'm sure did well for Valkia, who is up to 59 kills and 5.8k damage. She has been trying to chase down the enemy lord, who's just been running away from her. In the meantime, let's check out what the rest of the battle is doing. Frankly, it's a big ol' massive melee that just hit the enemy big ol' massive melee in the main lines, though we do have a few Marauder horses facing off against some skeleton horses as well. Though with Sacrifice, our Marauder horses hit very, very hard, or at the very least they have very high melee attack at 80, so they should be able to quickly work their way through these skeleton horses before the latter can do too much damage to them. Otherwise, it's Coronate warriors and Marauders facing off against skeleton warriors and Tomb Guard. And at least we're in sandy terrain. Man, I can't believe we're fighting Tomb Kings 3 times in a single episode, all in, well, at least somewhat different locations. At least 2 completely different locations, and then sort of similar locations between Zazel and Valkia. Though Zazel remains in the mountains, and Valkia has moved from the northern snowy territories down to this red desert location. Anyway, for now, the fight continues. The Bloodthirster has moved in and I believe is now trying to chase down the enemy lord in here somewhere, though it looks like the Sepulchral Stalkers are in the way, though by the looks of it, I don't think the Bloodthirster cares. And it does look like similar to the Marquis, and it'll be a good use of the big boy to knock a few of these guys down, since the Marauders might struggle against them a little bit. Alright, in the meantime, while all this is happening, or while the main enemy force of while the first enemy force is being destroyed, it looks like the main enemy force has arrived, and there's plenty more troops. Where that all came from, the balance of power shifting to about only maybe 30%, and maybe actually looks like 25% in our favor. So we do gotta be careful, and the enemy does have something of an advantage here. That said, we deployed in this manner for a particular reason. The enemy is forcing all of its catapults to deploy, well, is forced to have them deploy all on this side because of where the reinforcements arrive, and those 5 artillery pieces aren't going to be too useful when they have to shoot through this big old tree line. The Casket of Souls might still land a few shots on all this, but the Screaming Skull catapults will have a lot of trouble, so that works in our favor. That said, it looks like the AI, perhaps smartly, is ignoring our melee troops and is trying to go after the Marauder horsemen, which were trying to move around the enemy ranks and go after those enemy artillery. It looks like 2 of our units of horses will serve as an adequate distraction, allowing 1 unit of the Marauder horses to get through and charge those Screaming Skull catapults in the background. Valkia, in the meantime, has gone for that Casket of Souls. Perhaps the artillery aren't going to be a crazy threat here, but they're threatening enough to still warrant being destroyed as fast as possible. Oh, there we go. We just needed a short enough distraction to make sure that our Marauders and our Coronate warriors are able to fight in melee and get a use of their strengths rather than being obliterated from range. Anyway, our Marauders, by moving in and taking damage here, have also allowed us to summon a unit of Forsaken on top of themselves, and as soon as an enemy unit reaches 50%, we'll simply be able to summon a unit of Chaos Spawn there to help the Forsaken. While Valkyrie is away, the Bloodthirster continues leading the rest of our units. And I'm pretty sure our Exalted Hero is in here somewhere. Although at this point I've lost sight of him. And plenty of skeletons. And right, I completely forgot that we had the Chaos Trolls in here still. I was supposed to delete them when we were going to get the Bloodthirsters. Plus, oh, I guess they did. It's because they assassinated one of the heroes, so if they hadn't, we would have deleted the Chaos Trolls here. But hey, I'm sure they will have proved useful in this particular battle, as they add a little bit of splash damage and armor piercing to this blob of units. And it looks like the Bloodthirster has sighted the enemy lord and will be going after him. I think it did try to attack him several times now and will give chase as well. That is not the only enemy lord on field, however, is another one on a Cambrian War Sphinx is right in the middle of our blob of units. So this one, I believe our Exalted Hero is somewhere, yeah, he's right there, is going after. And by the looks of it, has done some damage to him. Now, Valkia is on the way as well, however, having cleared out the majority of the enemy artillery pieces, especially with those summons, and is now just trying to find a spot to land so she can attack the War Sphinx and all that blobbage. And there we go, the War Sphinx is trapped now with Valkia, and a couple of hits I'm sure will bring it down quickly. The Bloodthirster, I believe, has taken care of the other enemy lord, and the enemy is quickly starting to run out of melee troops. They do still have plenty of range units running around. There we go, enemy lord wounded. There's 4 units of skeleton archers back here, and a bunch of chariots and missile chariots, and another unit of skeleton archers here, but our Marauder horsemen have begun to engage them and annoy them. We had to wait until the enemy melee were all engaged so that they wouldn't be able to peel away and deal with our very fragile horses. At least until we get more of these Skull Crushers, who have been doing work this entire time, but frankly the last like 2 times Valkia fought, I spent way too much time watching these guys, so I didn't want to watch them this time around, especially since we had the Bloodthirster now. Which still looks like it's having a great time, using those fire breaths a lot. And good job to the enemy for not routing or shattering at this point or as yet, considering they've lost both of their lords, or 3 lords, or 4 lords, I don't know, a bunch to this point in the battle. And not much remains. Also, this getting some fantastic shots here. I like how the Bloodthirster's eyes glow yellow. It sort of matches the whole theme here, the colors of the sky and whatnot. Anyway, just a few more Nehekara warriors and Tomb Guard to work through. Our Skull Crushers charging on through and doing their work. There's that corpse of their lord that they're fighting around, and I suppose they should give their lives and die with their lord. Alright, and I do believe that, because there we go, we've now reached the final point and the rest of the army has begun to melt away. Valkia in the middle of the fight as well, though obviously not threatened at all by any of these infantry units. She doesn't do so well at mincing infantry compared to the Bloodthirster, and prefers targeting single entities. Though I imagine Valky's probably a little bit better at mincing infantry than Sigvald would be. At least from what I recall when I played her in my other campaign. At least I don't recall her ever having any trouble racking up kill counts and damage. Anyway, I like all the torches from the Marauders. Though I do want to get rid of them as soon as possible and replace them with Knights and then Skull Crushers. And there we go. And a very nice battle for Valkia as well. I'm sure she is very happy with that one. All of the armies destroyed. It looks like we only took about I don't know, maybe 75% damage on most of our Marauders. Granted, a few of them dropped down to about 50% HP during the melee, but at the same time, they didn't lose enough models for them not to recover, so we're good. Well, a third heroic victory in a row. Fairly unusual once again, but I suppose with our new armies having weaker troops, it does make sense. Plus, it provides more entertaining battles due to the increased difficulty of not having to rely, or not having the ability to rely, on more basic units. And nonetheless, a great fight. I'm sure Khorne is fairly happy with that. I guess we could have lost a few more troops ourselves. We got our debut of our first Bloodthirster, which got 204 kills and 33k damage, and that, keep in mind, while it was trying to chase down the enemy lord for a while there, 73k damage and 428 on the Knights of the Brazen Throne. Very nice for them as well. As for the horses, looks like the Dragoons of Khorne and got the most kills and the most damage as well. I guess the name conferred and greater capabilities on them. As for the Marauders, it looks like the well, you're unnamed for now, but you certainly beat the rest of the Marauders, and the Devourers got 26 kills and 22-ish k and damage, and Valkyrie herself no slouch at 35k. Either way, very nice fight. You survive with 1 HP, okay. You know what, kill captives. I don't know what will remain once we auto-resolve this, because an army or two might not have come in for reinforcement, but I'm not sure. No, it looks like they were all there. Okay, which means we could just destroy them all. Valkia, good. Chaos Steed for name. Luckstone, and, oh, Path to Glory. Well, that's just swell. Ooh, you got Revel in Slaughter now. That's nice. That's real nice. And you also need to keep... Ah, yes, you got Chaos Strategist now. And gotta love that extra XP gain. And I guess we'll just max out training as well. I mean, yeah, sure, we should get Phil the Chalice, but this army, it needs a lot of training. Oh, you actually should at least be able to reach regular Chaos Knight form fairly soon. It's too bad that you can't bypass Chaos Knights to go straight for Skull Crushers, but, well, and we'll take what we can get. Anyway, Valkia, in you go, and... Huh. I thought that these guys would be attackable. Damn, okay, wait. Sack. How far can you still move? Reasonably far. Okay, go after this guy. Destroy these guys. Oh, you can still run? Oh, how dare you. Oh, don't tell me we can't hit the settlement now. Okay, no, we still can. We still can. This guy looks like he's off the map. Can we actually move him? I hope Valkyrie doesn't get bugged here. I can still move. Ah, I should have gone after this guy first. Oh well. It's free XP. And we can reach this guy, but that will take basically all of our movement. 7%. Hopefully that's going to be enough to hit Hrothgar Spire after. Oh, and you can move as well. Oh, how dare you. How dare you, sir. Wait, but whenever somebody flees from Valkia, she gains extra movement range, although not enough to reach this guy, but nonetheless. Head to Hrothgar Spire, please, and occupy. Alright, and on top of that, several of these units will be able to be upgraded to Chaos Warriors now, which is quite nice. And we got our second Bloodthirster, and immediately you will be Slaughter for Slaughter you had, and you will be Carnage for Carnage there will be. I guess that could have gone the other way around as well. It's like Gork and Mork sort of situation, but yeah. As you guys thankfully remembered in the previous Valkia campaign, her two pet Bloodthirsters, which I like to think she has sort of like on like leashes or like collars, like a little chain thing, or a chain connecting to their brass collars perhaps, named after Skarbrand's axes, and very nice. Some continuation here for Valkia. Anyway, we still have to get rid of that troll unit, but I think for now we'll forego it. I was thinking about getting another horseman in here, but we can't get one in here. Oh, maybe 6 is enough. I'll think about it. Anyway, let's see what else we got to do because we are quickly running out of time. Malefex, you're heading... Okay, you don't need that giant blade, but you are heading through... Yeah, wait. Kolek is going here, which means perhaps we actually want to send you down to this green one instead. And hey, you'll be able to get a free Mysterious Island on the way. Might as well have them all attack at 3 armies to 3 sea lanes, you know? Makes more sense to me. You are good where you were. You are headed to Mount Gunbad, because I'm willing to bet the Tretch will fail there, so just go right to the edge of the territory. Like so, and then hopefully hit Mount Gunbad and rip it apart with artillery if needed. The next time around, we still need to get you plenty of XP, and we just... Yeah, we do have Chaos Strategists here. Ugh. I'm a little bit wary that Tretch is going to besiege this, but honestly, if he does, if we could get sort of a combined arms battle going, I wouldn't mind that at all, because they're so rare. Glugmir Humongous, you can't do anything, or rather, you have to stay where you are, and I believe we're good. So, Tech Select is going to be... I believe we are going to go with Herald of Sacrifices for the extra allegiance points, and gifts I believe are fine as well. At the very least, there's nothing that we can or need to switch here. Buildings I believe I did between the episodes, since this is still the same turn. Oh! Or was that a different turn? Oh no, okay, wait. Let's upgrade you. Exalted Dark Fortress, tier 5, very nice. Gunpowder Road, also tier 5. Oh, materials at sea. Coming in real handy. Okay, yeah, apparently I didn't do this. Oh wow, look at it. Everything's going to tier 5. That's very nice. I'm very happy with that, and I'm actually shocked that we didn't run out of money, but yeah, once again, Material C working for us. We'll trade Blacklight Tower to Malekith, so we don't have to build anything here. And Fallen King Mountain is not near to any future battles, so we don't need to build anything there. Rothgar Spire will repair for trade. Storag Core we will... I think we can actually give it to Malekith right now. And did I forget to do something with you, bud? Magpie. My bad on that. Alright, let's give Storag Core to you. Well, we actually had Clark Haron, but because it's a special location for the Dark Elves, I decided to give it to Malekith. He can do much more with it than we can. Also, keep your money, sir. Use that to actually develop the provinces, and then hopefully give us a proper tribute. Fitting for Archaon. Now, ooh, Cult of Pleasure, hello.
Do not presume
Minus 40, eh? Ah, damn.
All the same.
I screwed something up a little bit that I didn't realize. Minus 37, eh? Yeah, so... Here's what I screwed up. If I hadn't declared war on all the elves, we would have easily been able to force vassalize Marathi by declaring war on all the elves. I hadn't considered that. I really should have. Well, that's a shame. There's some... Oh, we've nearly reached them, eh? Maybe a valuable settlement, plus money, plus declare war on Hexoatl, plus if we peace out with one of them... well, no, but if we peace out with them, then they'll... that won't quite work. Well, we still need to vassalize Marathi, and I guess if it comes down to it, we can vassalize her in the same way that we did Malekith and Malice, so that won't change. Anyway, I believe we're good to go, so skip unassigned, path to glory, building upgrade, damage building, outpost upgrade. No, our money situation isn't outpost upgradey right now. And turn. Scarbrand. I see you're still moving around down there. Are you doing anything useful? Ah, damn, she did move somewhere here. Well, that's a little bit irritating. Oh, she went to retake Kislev. Well, good for her, but I guess we'll chase her down again? Wait, she raised Kislev? Well, that's interesting. I guess she really didn't want us to have it. It serves no purpose or use to us, but counteroffer. No, still only vassalage. Minus 36, alright, well, hopefully we'll get it. I'd really prefer not to have to go in and and destroy... I think we fought enough Dark Elves so that there isn't really any need to destroy Morathian that way. Yeah, I really should have waited. I didn't think of it. We could have just declared war on all the High Elf factions and thereby... I was too tempted by Lariel's army being there. Anyway, Clan Rictus, you are looking good. Nagaron, Settlement Raised, Kislev, who cares? Clan Squire loses an outpost, don't know. Not our problem. And I believe that's about it. Alright. I assume you're going to be able to reach this army with a quick little auto-resolve. I guess the issue here is A, we need to hunt down Otharian. B, we need to hunt down Conquata, and oh, they raised it again. Guys, why are you so rude? And we need to head to the Palace of Ruin as well. I also forgot what, oh, I was gonna get you more, flamers. We're at 6 out of 6 here. And I guess we could sacrifice some of the regular Pancores before we replace with flamers, even if this is the flamer army. Alright, I'm gonna need you to move in march stance. I'm gonna need you to move... Can you hit Cowark and take it yourself? I think you can. I'm just gonna assume that you can. Go here. Next turn, we should be able to vassalize or confederate Bellicor, as he has 3 territories, and we're poised to attack all 3 at once. And then we'll get him to help retake Conquata. In fact, we might even summon him directly at Conquata. And then Siggy is going to the Donut. And we'll probably send another army or 2 down there. I mean, we could send Bellicor to Bretonnia. Oh, actually, Bretonia's in shambles. Look at this. Oh, I didn't even realize this. Wow, Camry's doing good. I guess they are the 2nd strongest faction in the game right now, right? Now 3rd. Who's the 2nd? Oh, it's Vlad. Well, yeah, don't worry. Empire of Undeath, we coming for you. There's several elements to the endgame at once. Vlad is the 2nd most powerful faction. Ulthuan with the elf block. And then... well, the Orc endgame itself, all combined. And happening roughly at once, but yeah, Bretonnia, kind of not even worth attacking. It's been completely destroyed. Chaos, okay, so I take it this is Torox doing this. Orcs are still doing reasonable work there as well. Well, interesting. All interesting, but it'll have to be something that we take a look at a little bit more next time, as I think we're out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. Next time, we move through the remaining territories of the Bone Rattlers and the Escort with Archaon, depending on how many turns we get to do, but it looks like that turn took care of most of the immediate battles, so we might be able to advance it a little bit, though I do expect Siggy to fight Eltharion here, or at least I hope that he will, because I really want his missile resistance to the army to feature it. Otherwise, we'll look for more fights. We have knocked down a lot of Kotep's armies, but he'll be able to get them back up and running fairly quick, so that don't mean much as yet. Anyway, more Archaon to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below if you want to see more, and at an hour length especially. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.